Hey everybody, and welcome to the first DotDeck weekly update. Seeing as we've only had one Premier Rated tournament in the UK since the last video, we have some good content to share with you this week, including 2 player interviews, both winners of events this year, and one of which is a fellow member of the team. So without further ado, here is your update for this week's competitive scene. December the 17th brought us the first City Championship of the season in the UK and was held at the United Reformed Church in Cumbernauld. The players up there are fairly exclusive to the area, seeing as it's quite a drive for anyone in the south of the country, but some people did make the trip since there hadn't been a tournament in a while. Overall, the tournament had 5 rounds without a top cut to some people's dismay. Some people thought that this was a little bit harsh since you'd have to be the only undefeated player to win the tournament, but time constraints were apparently quite tight, so the winner had to perform well to take the entire tournament. Dan Norton was there on the day, and here's a short interview of the winner of the tournament, John Gregory.
Hi there, it's Dan here with DotDeck. I'm here at the Cumbernauld City Championships, and this is John, the first place finisher. So John, tell us a bit about the deck you played today.
It's a pretty basic Rush Explosion. I only ran 2 junk arms. That's the only thing I can think that's remarkable about it. And this is my first tournament. I've only been playing again since my brother played with me. It's been a long time. I only started again a couple weeks ago.
Okay, and your opponents, did you come across any decks you were expecting or decks you weren't expecting?
I fully expected to face a Durant, and it didn't happen, which is probably a good thing because I chew through stuff real quick. Vanillux completely nailed me, and I kind of knew that. I mean, the type disadvantage alone is enough to just sink you in paralyzation. It doesn't help. But, it went much better than I expected.
Okay, so do you think you'll keep playing now?
Oh yeah, of
quite a while now?
Absolutely, yeah. Unexpected first place, sure,
yeah. Okay, and you're running the league in Edinburgh now?
I am, yes. I'm organizing the league in Edinburgh. I have been since that started a few months ago.
Okay, if you want to give some details about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're at Cumbernauld Shopping Centre. I don't know which way to look. Every Sunday from 11 to 3. Obviously, we won't be doing it next week because that's Christmas. But, it's mostly younger players, but we're just getting started. Lots of kids that I work with. So, but they're just getting off the ground, and some of them are asking for Rush Explosion decks for Christmas. So I may have competition in the future. Okay,
well, congratulations on your win. Thanks for doing for interview with us.
Thanks very much. My pleasure.
Good luck in the future with all the tournaments.
Thanks very much.
Thanks Dan for that, and as you heard, Rush Explosion was victorious on the day, with George Boone playing Magazone Electric coming second. The rest of the top spots were taken by 6 Corners and Vanillux Fileplume, so a nice diverse head of the field. It's interesting to note that 3 out of the top 4 placing decks were created through noble victories, which shows how much of an impact this set has had on our current format. But it is interesting that a veteran deck did squeeze out the win in the end when it came to taking on these newly created decks. As you also heard in the interview, John is actually a league leader of Edinburgh, so if you're local to the area and like to either play more regularly or get into the game, then head over to Cumbernauld Shopping Centre Food Court in Edinburgh at 11 AM on Sundays and get involved. We're going to leave the UK for a second now with another member of our team who has favoured jetting off to Europe to take part in multiple regionals and cities in Holland to rack up the championship points he needs to earn his 2nd invite in a row to this season's World Championships. So let me hand you over to Tom Hall, who led the interview with Tommy Roberts, fellow DotDeck team member and current UK #1.
Hey there viewers, it's Tom here with DotDeck Weekly Player Interview. This week I'm joined by Tommy Roberts from the UK. Right. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Tommy.
I'm currently the #1 ranked player in the UK, and I was last year as well. I've been playing Pokemon for quite a while. Basically since base set, so yeah. Alright, that's it really.
Okay, and so you're #1 ranked this year in the UK. How did you get to that point? What tournaments have you been playing in?
This year I've played quite a lot abroad. I went to the Prague Cup, and I've been to Holland twice. And when I went to Holland, I played in Germany and Belgium as well.
All right, okay. So you've been around a fair amount.
I've been away quite a lot.
What results did you get at these tournaments then?
In the first regionals I went to in Germany, I went EXO, I think it was 6-0 in Swiss, and then I lost in the first round of top 8 to Vanillux, And then
what were you running?
ZPST.
Ah, right, okay. And what decks did you run for the other tournaments?
Well, in Prague I played Gothhotel, Rena Superior, and then in Germany, Belgium, and Holland I played ZPST every time.
Alright, okay. What kind of contrasting with the decks? Obviously they're two very different kind of decks. One's very fast and one takes more time to set up. What made you switch over the decks, or?
Well, Prague was the latest set was Emerging Powers, so that's before like all the new decks came out. And Gothhotel was a bit better then because not as much, you had more auto wins and not as much stuff could one-shot it. And then when the new format came out, the new set came out, I didn't want to play Gothhotel anymore because of Curum and Cabalion and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's just it makes life a bit harder for Gothhotel to actually do what it's meant to do. It's just tank, but kind of get interrupted with all the new Pokemon that's out now. Zekrom, is that did you use it mainly because of the speed element? Or did you use it for just was it easy to play, or?
Well, because I didn't know the metagame in Holland, because I'd never played there, and wherever I played abroad, I just kind of chose Zekrom because you had the donk factor was pretty high. So I was like, just try and see what they're playing and beat them as fast as possible.
Oh, right.
And then,
yeah. Okay, that's not so bad. Okay then. So, did you have any memorable games from this tournament? Are there any games that you can particularly remember that sprung to mind as being great games, really close, or really hard for you to come back from?
Yeah, I had a pretty good game in Germany where I played against Donphan Dragons when I was playing. He went ahead in prizes. I think it was he had 2 prizes left and I had 4 or 5, and then I ended up getting just 2 Tornadoes out and killing all his Zekroms, and he couldn't actually kill both of my Tornadoes, which was quite good. I top decked the Juniper as well, which kind of won me the game. Which was good.
Okay, that's not so bad. So, being the #1 ranked player in the UK at the moment, what advice do you have for other players to get in a similar position to you as you are at the moment?
Well, with championship points, you should probably just play in everything you can and try and play consistently. Don't play deck. If you have a deck that places consistently and can have even matchups, it's probably better than trying to play something inconsistent or rogue that might just flop or win. Because you don't actually need to win.
Advise consistent decks that you want to do well at quite a lot of tournaments rather than inconsistent results, essentially.
Yeah, try and get winning one tournament and then flopping in 4 is a lot worse than making top 8 in 5 tournaments in a row.
Yeah, well, because the championship points are different this year to get to the invitations to the World Championships, of course, isn't it? You need championship points to qualify for this year, so obviously doing consistently well in tournaments is going to be better than just doing occasionally well. It's going to be a more equal balance.
Yeah.
So, what advice do you have for younger players that have just started out playing Pokemon, or people that are thinking about attending their first tournament? Have you got any advice for them? I remember my first tournament was a bit of an odd experience.
Yeah, you should probably try and do research online into what's good, and if you have a local league, go to there and try and meet the players is always a good idea. See if they've got any see what cards they have and try and trade to build a half decent deck before you play in a tournament. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay, well,
and
thanks
reading
a lot,
articles.
Tommy.
That's good.
That's brilliant. Thanks for joining us anyway, and I wish you best of luck in the new year.
Thanks, Tom, for that, and this brings me on to how the calendar is looking for our 2012 competitive season. So far, we have 7 cities tournaments on the locator, with the first one being on the 7th of January in Nottingham. This will probably be one of the largest events and is usually one of the toughest to compete in, but if you're able to travel there, then make sure you attend to try and grab some championship points. For the rest of the city's part of the season, the calendar is looking something like this. Aldershot and Exeter are holding their tournaments the weekend after Nottingham on the 14th, and Cardiff follow that up the following day with their own tournament on Sunday the 15th. The weekend after that on the 21st brings you to Crawley City's event, with Manchester and Sheffield bringing cities to a close with their events on the 11th of February. If you would like more information about any of these events, then head over to dotdeck.co.uk, where you'll find all of these tournaments on our own easy to use locator, along with all the information you need to know about attending each one. So this brings me on to the final part of the show, where I'm just going to go over some of the additions and changes to the site, along with our best deals of the week at the DotDeck store. As for the website, we've added the newest tournament dates as mentioned earlier, along with information about Pro Pokemon's new subscriber feature, which is run by DotDeck's own Nathan McLeary. In the next week or so, we'll continue to make the website even more interactive with Facebook, so you don't even need to leave the site to log in or interact with the site, and we'll also be clearing up some of the finer details of the design. As for the DotDeck store, we are still holding our Christmas sale, which is already proving to be incredibly popular, with hard to get cards such as Pachirisu selling out already. However, don't panic, because we have all the Eviolites, Ends, Rocky Helmets, new cards from Noble Victories, as well as competitive classics such as Judge, Typhlosion and Donphan in stock at incredible prices. Eviolites are currently sitting at just $250, and you can also grab yourself a bargain N at just $150 a piece. Another addition to the store is already proving to be quite popular, and that's the ability to buy complete competitive decks ready to go for tournament play. At the moment we have 3 hotshot decks that you can purchase ready-made, including Reshiram Typhlosion, ZPST and The Truth. All of these decks are optimum builds made for having a chance at grabbing you a top cut place at your next tournament. We'll be adding new decks every week, with Durant and Magnezone Electric coming in the next few days, so make sure you make the most of these deals while they last and get over to dotdeck.co.uk to find the cards that you need to do well at your city championships. Just before you go, I have some exciting news for you all. DotDeck is now going to be merging with Pokemon Dan, which means that I will now be a bigger part of this project than I was before. What this means for you is that I'll be helping Tom out as much as I can by recording video footage of all the events that I go to, and will be presenting it to you in the form of these weekly updates. Don't worry though, because this won't affect Poker Class. The show will still continue, and I'm also completely dedicated to keeping that every single week, as I've been doing so for over a year now. This means that you're going to be getting 2 weekly shows from me containing only the best footage from events, interviews with players from all over the world, deck analysis and much more, so I hope you're all excited at the content we're going to be able to bring you in the coming months. So that's it for this week's DotDeck update. Next week's episode is going to feature more updates from the website, as well as information and preparation advice for City Championships, which are just around the corner. If you're still struggling for deck choices, or you really need some advice on how to tackle cities this year, then make sure you tune in next week for all the information you need. Also, if you have any questions, comments or suggestions for next week's show about these videos, City Championships or anything else, then please ask them below and we'll answer them at the end of next week's show. We hope that you enjoyed this week's episode, and make sure you visit www.dotdeck.co.uk for all the latest happenings from the UK and Europe.